Well, thank you very much, Danny. Good afternoon and welcome to the eagerly anticipated Betfred League One opener between the York City Knights and the Bradford Bulls. A much more settled pre-season has allowed York head coach James Ford to assemble his first choice squad in plenty of time to let them go through the gelling stage during their pre-season preparations. A number of ex-Super League players have joined the club who will add a cutting edge and give the City Knights the ability to challenge the big guns of the league, giving themselves a real shot at promotion. For the Bradford Bulls, they will face many on-field tests from the other teams in League One in 2018, but you can certainly feel the positivity sweeping across the club and coming out of Odsal since the appointment of head coach John Keir last December. There's certainly been a big rebuilding job to be done at Odsal, and the Bulls will be looking to follow the lead of the Toronto Wolfpack by finishing top of the table, securing the League One title, and with that immediate promotion back to the Championship at the first attempt. We're live here. It's a cacophony of noise at Bootham Crescent. Over 3,000 supporters packing out 3 stands, and it's all happening live here on Proper Sport and the Bradford Bulls live Facebook page. Out come the York City Knights. The main stand erupts with cheers. The David Longhurst stand to my left jeers from the Bulls faithful. Let's go through the two sides, how they will line up this afternoon here. For the York City Knights, Ash Robson at fullback, wing three quarter line, Ben Cockayne, the Scottish international Will Oakes, Brad Hay and Kieran Moss, who recently joined the club on Thursday evening on a 1-month loan from Hulkeston Rovers. The half-back pairing, Connor Robinson and Matty Marsh, the Hulkeston Rovers Young Player of the Year for last season. The front row forwards then for the York City Knights, Adam Robinson, Andy Ellis, Graham Horn, Joe Batchelor, Sam Scott, and the loose forward, the skipper for York, is Tim Spears. On the interchange bench, Will Jubb, Joe Porter, Chris Siddons and Ronan Dixon. For the Bradford Bulls, John Keir's first side as they look to get life underway in League One. Greg McNally at fullback, wing three quarter line, Dalton Grant, Ash Gibson, Lee Smith and Ethan Ryan. In at the halves is Joe Keys and Elliot Minchella. The front row forwards, Steve Crossley, Sam Hallis, Liam Kirk, and the back rowers, Matt Garside, Liam Johnson and George Milton, the loose forward, who actually had a game here at the York City Knights last season on dual reg. And John Keir, a strong interchange bench of Peltier, Halafihi, Pickersgill and Wood. We're just going to see Jeff Price, the former York legend, hand the match ball to Connor Robinson. The referee, it's the London-based Australian Matt Rossley. He was in charge of Featherstone Lions against Fatto Heath in the Challenge Cup second round last weekend. This, his biggest appointment to date. Connor Robinson then, ball on the halfway line. York will go from right to left. Bradford will attack the stand that's currently closed, and the season opener here in the Betfred League One season is underway as Robinson's kickoff is taken by McNally, and immediately McNally gives it to Crossley, and Crossley's brought down by 3 York City Knights defenders. And early doors, Bradford appealing for a penalty for a high tackle, none forthcoming, and 2 tackles gone. They find themselves just outside their own 10. The Welsh international Dalton Grant, mazy run out of dummy half, goes nowhere. His run extinguished. Bradford, 3 tackles gone. Good solid pressure early doors from the York City Knights as Hallis gives the ball to Kirk. 4th tackle gone, and Bradford, they're up to their own 30, 20 shy of the halfway line. They're going to go back down the middle. Hallis to Crossley, and the former Toronto man is upended and he's brought down 15 shy, centre of the field. Last tackle, ball goes to Keys, one of the Bradford pivots, but he's gone straight there down the front. And Kieran Moss getting a hot reception from the Bradford supporters to my left, and the former Bradford man brought down on his own 30. So York City Knights with their first taste of the ball. 50 seconds gone here. Bulls live, Proper Sport live. It's 0-0. Both sides really going to be in an arm wrestle early doors, you feel, but not a spare seat very few spare places on the terracing. It's got to be said, supporters still coming into this famous compact, tight ground as a big rampaging run there from Adam Robinson takes the York City Knights on the fifth and last, 30 out from that Bradford line as Connor Robinson going to put a testing kick up for Dalton Grant. It's chased back there by Kieran Moss, and they're going to force Bradford into a goal line dropout. Dalton Grant give the ball to Greg McNally. There was nothing that Greg McNally could do because he was running out of space, and early pressure from the York City Knights, Tom.
Yeah, it's been a good opening few minutes. I think York's intensity is already clearly there to see. Definitely a great opening from the Knights.
Bradford then forced to concede their first dropout of the match. 2 minutes gone on the clock. The referee, Matt Rossley, just waving time back on as Greg McNally puts a wobbler across this Bootham Crescent surface. Here goes Robinson. Tackle number 1, 30 metres out. Prime position, you feel, as they move the ball down the middle as Tim Spears is going to be brought down. Out of dummy half from Andy Ellis. Ellis, as York look to open the scoring with Kieran Moss in the corner. Valiant defensive tackle there from Dalton Grant. He's going to say there was a footy touch, but the referee, Matt Lossley, consults with a touch judge, points the finger, and the York City Knights have got off to a blistering start here at Bootham Crescent. 3 minutes gone on the clock. It's the Bradford Bulls 0, York City Knights 4.
Well, you see him there on the edge of the wing, and the way he planted it down, it didn't look comfortable at all, but what a finish from the winger there from the York City Knights. Bradford just scuttling over to the left, and they just couldn't get it. They didn't have enough men. Great start for the Knights here at Bootham Crescent.
Joe Batchelor, number 11, with that line break down that left-hand edge, catching the Bradford Bulls defence unaware. And as Tom just said, the support play there from Kieran Moss, and he'll enjoy that one against his former employers. So Connor Robinson will attempt the conversion attempt on this main stand side from our commentary position. 25 metres from the sticks, a metre, if that, in from this main stand touchline. The pressure is on early doors. Every point's potentially going to count this afternoon. Strikes it with a left boot. That one is going to sail between the posts over the black dot. The touch judge's flags confirm the extra 2 points, and it's York City Knights who lead the Bradford Bulls by 6 points to 0.
Connor Robinson there, obviously. You can see the delight he has here scoring those 2 extras. He knows how vital it is against Bradford Bulls, who are going to be a scalp in League One this season. Terrific start from York City Knights as we get the game back underway. Bradford with a big boot. And it's taken well by the York's man. Big runner from number 8 for the York City Knights. Adam Robinson's got some size on him, hasn't he, Mick?
It certainly has. He'll be causing John Keir's side no end of problems this afternoon. So the York City Knights leading 6-0. They're already 20 shy of the halfway line. Over on the main stand side, and referee Matt Rossley is going to give the first penalty of the afternoon, and that is for Bradford delaying the play of the ball, and that is awarded 20 shy of the halfway line. So the York City Knights really a huge statement of intent. And when I spoke with James Ford Friday evening, he said that his preparations had been hit by illness this week, meaning that he was only able to announce a provisional 17-man squad. Well, he's managed to call in the recruits from Hulkington Rovers of Kieran Moss, Will Oakes, and also Matty Marsh. And Hulkington Rovers, certainly a lot of their supporters here this afternoon as York look to further extend their lead potentially, as Ash Robson, the fullback, brought down in a 2-man tackle by Gibson and Keys. 30 out from that Bradford try line as Connor Robinson lays it off there to Adam Robinson, and Adam Robinson brought down by Kirk, Keys and Milton in a 3-man tackle. Ellis out of dummy half. Across the face of the post they go. It goes to the scrum half, Matty Marsh. Matty Marsh has had the ball lost, and it's gone backwards, and Bradford have it on the 0 tackle with Ethan Ryan over on the far stand side, as they're just going to try and calm things down now, the Bradford Bulls. 20 shy of the halfway line as Lee Smith, Hallis along the line and down the middle, direct forward running there from Crossley. his third spell at Odsall. He's brought down 5 shy of the halfway line. Flat looking pass out of dummy half from Hallis to Milton. George Milton back to Hallis. Bradford inside the York half for the first time this afternoon. 5.5 minutes gone, and the big prop forward for York, Adam Robinson, is down on his back, and the referee, Matt Rossley, is going to stop the clock. But oh boy, we certainly knew that York, Tom, were going to come firing on all cylinders. I didn't think that it had happened this quick, but credit to James Ford's side. If they're under no illusions, John Keir, York are certainly up for it this afternoon.
Oh, you've got to be, though. But you're looking at Adam Robinson, of course. For me, he's been the star man at the moment for York City Knights. Just the sheer pace of the man coming through, and like, he's a big lad, and he's making a dent in the Bradford's defence. He's looking pretty good, and I'm glad to see he's back up and he's on his feet.
So the referee just allowing York to set their defensive stall. 25 out from their own try line. Hallis is going to play the ball. Minchella's in there at dummy half. Milton's calling for it. Milton gets it, and George Milton goes straight there into Robinson and Spears in a 2-man tackle. 4th tackle gone for the Bradford Bulls, trailing 6 points to do. Here goes Minchella. Minchella to Keys. Keys tries to go through a gap, and he's brought down on the 5th and last. 25 out from that York City Knights try line. They come on this main stand side. Hallis to McNally. McNally kicks it to open space. Ash Robson is going to be trapped in goal, and Bradford have earned themselves a goal line dropout. Perfectly weighted kick there from Greg McNally, the former Whitehaven man. A lot of experience at this level, and that's got the Bull supporters cheering and clapping to our left.
Yeah, you saw the deft kick. I thought it might be a little bit too little on it, but it perfectly bounced. And the York City Knights man, he was struggling in his own, obviously, back line, and obviously Bradford going in. Good defence.
Robinson with the restart, gets it up and over halfway into the arms of Minchella. Minchella to Crossley. Here goes Crossley like an express train down the middle. Crossley looks for support, decides to keep onto the ball as Ellis and Batchelor wrap him up. 10 metres now inside the York half as they go down the middle once again with George Milton. Milton, the former Hulkington Rovers man, he'll be coming up against some of his former teammates this afternoon as Hallis on the reverse to Minchella. Minchella to Johnson. Johnson, 2 tries last weekend in that Joe Phillips Memorial victory over the Keighley Cougars, gets to his feet. They're just inside the York 20 as Keys sucks in that defence on the runaround and then gives the ball to Crossley. Crossley's wrapped up on the 4th, 10 metres out, slap bang down the middle. Hallis marshals the ball to Keys. Keys cut out pass to Minchella, to McNally, to Ethan Ryan, and Ethan Ryan with the line open. He's got butterfingers. Chance has gone begging for the Bradford Bulls. That's their first error in open play, and it's come 10 metres out from the York line in the 8th minute here, and it is still the York City Knights who lead by 6 points to 0.
Well, you look at that knock on, and it's just sort of bumbled on the ground. You're obviously going to struggle, but under the pressure, I think that the York were coming over and scuttling over. They think he's just dropped it. You know, mistakes are going to happen, obviously, but not good. 10 metres out, of course. First major attack from Bulls.
Feel a little bit deprived of seeing Ethan Ryan against Ben Cockayne over in that far stand corner. So York City Knights just going to move the ball down the middle channel. Milton, Crossley, Johnson in defence. Also Gibson in a 4-man tackle. Kieran Moss out of dummy half. Takes York to within 8 metres of the halfway line. 20 in from this main stand side. Here goes Cockayne. Cockayne's going to go down that middle channel looking for the support. And York 4 metres inside the Bradford half as Ellis gives it to Robinson. And Robinson now going to give it there back to Ellis. Last tackle for the York. Just outside the Bradford 30. Connor Robinson goes high. It's another testing kick for Dalton Grant. Dalton Grant's dropped it under pressure. He had Kieran Moss bearing down on him, and it's going to be head and feed to the York City Knights. And this is very unorthodox from the Bradford Bulls from what we've seen going on the pre-season. But York have obviously identified the Welsh international Dalton Grant, who missed the entire 2017 championship season with an injury. He did play in the World Cup for Wales under John Keir, but perhaps a little bit of rustiness there from Dalton Grant. But prime attacking field position once again, Tom, for the Knights.
Yeah, they're really impressive, I think, at the moment, the Knights. Obviously, maybe the pressure of this game, because it's such a packed stadium, is getting to the Bulls maybe early on.
out along the line as it goes to Marsh. Marsh is going to give it to Robson. Robson, one-man band, is backtracked there in a two-man tackle over on the far-stand side. Minchella coming in and wrapping him up. They're going to come back down the middle with Sam Scott. Sam Scott turned on his back. York, that's how close they are. 10 metres out from that Bradford try line, hunting a second try. Ellis out of dummy half to Marsh, to Robinson, to Moss. Moss, fleet-footed. Did he go behind his own man? Referee Rossley says no. Bradford have to play to the whistle. Fourth tackle gone. Still 15 shy of the Bradford line as Robinson down the middle with Spears. Big collision as Hallis and Kirk come in. Centre field, 10 out on the last tackle. They're going to go to the air. Robinson, this time Dalton Grant leaps there, latches onto the ball, and he will take it under a lot of pressure there from Kieran Moss and Batchelor. And here goes Gibson out of dummy half, relieving run there up to the Bradford 20. McNally to Ryan. Ryan brought down in a three-man tackle just shy of his own 30-metre mark. If you're just joining us, it's Bulls Live, proper sport live, and it's the Bradford Bulls against the York City Knights, with York City Knights leading 6-0 courtesy of a 2-second-minute try from Kieran Moss. Bradford with Crossley on the fourth tackle. It goes to Hallis. Hallis to Garside, and Matty Garside carries the Bradford Bulls just inside the York half. It's the fifth and last. They've extinguished all their tackles on this set as Minchella goes to the air. It's a tester for the young fullback, and up to the task there, Ash Robinson, and he's going to take that, Ash Robson, on his own 20, and Minchella comes in with another beautiful cover tackle, and really no love lost between these two sides. They're really serving up a treat here as Ben Cockayne loses the ball. A quick play the ball. He's appealing for a penalty. Referee Matt Rossley, he's going to say, you've got to get to your feet, respect the ball. And Bradford now with a chance, you feel, 40 metres out from the York line.
Yeah, Bulls looking pretty good there when they were tackling. Very good, but York have started this fantastically. They just need a little bit more in attack there with the Bulls. When they've got this sort of, they're in their opposition half now, mate. They need to be making more of it, basically. And obviously, you're looking at McNally, and obviously what a deft kick it was earlier. If they can get more dangerous kicks like that in, maybe on the last, then they might be able to get their first try.
Hallis from the base of the scrum to Keys, to McNally. McNally brought down there by Hay and Robinson in a two-man tackle. Gibson there at dummy half, probing run, picks it up in the right arm, protects the ball, brought down by three white-shirted Knights defenders, 25 metres out from the York City Knights try line. Hallis, short pass along to Kirk. Kirk's brought down, one of the numerous homegrown players here. Didn't miss a game in 2017. Played in all 31 as a cut-out pass from Keys finds Gibson, and the former Wakefield and Leeds centre is brought down just inside the York 10. It's going to go back to Keys. Keys along the line to Kirk. Kirk has another tilt, but he can't get past Graham Horn, and Graham Horn will wrap him up on the fifth and last tackle. Last chance for the Bulls in this set. Keys, crossfield kick, looking for Ryan, looking for Smith. Smith has got hold of the ball, but he's promoted it forward. It has gone forward off the right arm there of Lee Smith. The referee will say that will be the fifth and last, and that will be the turnover. Still 6-0 to the York City Knights.
Over 1,500 people watching us on Facebook Live now on Proper Sport. Thank you so much for joining us for the season opener. Of course, League One, it's Bulls Live. If you'd like to share the video, make sure that your friends know about it. We're going to be here all season long, bringing you free-to-air games.
York City Knights just doing the hard yards forward, just calming things down a little bit as Hay is brought down in a two-man tackle. Milton and Crossley there as they, once again, Ellis, good direct running out of dummy half. Here goes Cockayne. Cockayne's going to give it to Spears, and Spears is up and over the halfway line. This will be the fifth and last tackle for the York City Knights. Gets to his feet. Back it goes to Matty Marsh. Matty Marsh is put a bit of a wobbler up there, but Ethan Ryan, safe as houses, takes it on the 10, and he's upended and lifted and dumped on his shoulder on his own 20. Some of the Bull supporters appealing for a penalty, but I think that was fair. But what's not fair here is York City Knights being pinged for laying on in the tackle. So the penalty count now, one apiece, and a chance for the Bulls to build a little bit of momentum. But it's got to be said, Tom, this York City Knights defence, James Ford obviously done a lot of work in the pre-season. They're not giving the Bulls an inch.
No, they're not, and I'm not to say I'm a bit surprised, but again, Bulls are going to be a scalp this season. They're going to have to get used to people up in their game in League One. No doubt York Knights have been really, really good so far. I'm liking what I'm seeing from the Bulls in their defence, especially in the when they're in the Bulls.
Hallis to Crossley, to McNally, to Gibson. Gibson's brought down just a couple of metres in from this main stand side. Back it goes to McNally, to Johnson, on loan from the Huddersfield Giants with this black scrum cap. And he's brought down just inside the York City Knights 10. Bradford, 2 tackles remaining on this set of 6. What's Hallis going to do at dummy half? He goes to Crossley, to Keys. Cut out pass to McNally, to Smith. Smith wrestling there with Cockayne. Cockayne brings him down, ball and all. Last tackle, says referee Matt Rossley. Bradford once again 10 metres out. Big point kick from Keys. It's landed to Gibson. Gibson's going to score. Bradford have the first try, and the fireworks go off behind the stand. It's 6 points to 4. York aggrieved about the decision. They're saying it's come off a Bradford hand and it was promoted forward. But the touch judge on this main stand side, he was happy that the ball went backwards, and the Bradford Bulls have the first try of the 2018 season.
Well, it's Ashley Gibson, and he's played for Super League clubs. He's played all over sort of, the Super League. He's played for Wakefield. I think, honestly, he's got a much more experience than perhaps you'd think at first, but he absolutely took that with ease. When he got the ball, he did nothing but run in, maybe another 10, 20 metres, and then he obviously gets you easier kick for the 2 to level it up, all being well with this kick from Keys.
Great accuracy there from Joe Keys. Kicked it towards its main stand side, putting both Brad Hay and Kieran Moss under undue pressure, and Ashley Gibson, a lot of experience, picked up the present and he's opened Bradford's try-scoring account this afternoon. Signed from Wakefield last season on an 18-month deal. Not had the best career by any imagination. He only played 29 times for Leeds in 4 years. Looking to have a good season for the Bradford Bulls in 2018. Joe Keys then, 12 from 16 attempts last season. That one's just gone across the face of the post. So York still lead here at Bootham Crescent by 6 points to 4. But we've just seen a little bit of a revival from the Bradford Bulls, Tom.
Yeah, looking better. Obviously, when you get those chances, if York are going to make mistakes, you've got to take them. Bradford Bulls, of course, when they came up with that mistake earlier on with their first major attack, York obviously lapping it up. They're going to have to make sure that they don't make any mistakes in attack. And when York make mistakes in defence, take it with both hands, and Gibson did there.
On the restart, Steve Crossley getting a lot of attention. He played here for the Toronto Wolfpack when York had a famous win against them last season, 26-16. Toronto's only defeat. Dalton Grant on tackle number 2, turned on his back. Hallis out of dummy half, looking to prize open this sternest of York City Knights defences. McNally to Kirk. Kirk brought down there in a 2-man tackle. Horn and Spears there for the York City Knights. Bradford 15 shy of the halfway line. Here goes Milton. Milton's brought down on the 5th and last. 22 years of age, George Milton. It goes back to Hallis, to Keys. Keys is going to kick in between Robson and Moss. Robson traps it with the right boot, picks it up, and he's brought down there by Johnson, Crossley and Keys. So clever kicking once again from Joe Keys, looking to find the space as Kieran Moss goes out of dummy half. Kieran Moss with a half break, but Liam Johnson grabbed hold of the Australian's coattails and dragged him down 15 shy of halfway. Here goes Connor Robinson out of dummy half, brought down there by Johnson and Hallis in a 2-man tackle. A loud cry of held from the Australian referee, Matt Rossley, as Connor Robinson has to get to his feet and play the ball just shy of the halfway line. Here goes Graham Horn. He takes punishment from Kirk and Crossley. Hallis comes in over the top on tackle number 4. It's the York City Knights 6, Bradford Bulls 4, as Matty Marsh lays it off to Ellis. And Ellis chimes into that attacking line. They're going to find the support there as Will Job, I believe, has just come on the field, and it's now the last tackle. York 10 metres out from the Bradford line. Connor Robinson, reverse kick. Steve Crossley saves an almost certain try because Matty Marsh was racing on the inside, and Matty Marsh has come off second best in that collision. There's bodies all on the floor. Joe Keys is down with a concerted looking injury to the left thigh area. Referee Matt Rossley will stop the clock, but oh my, they're not known for being the quickest and the most alert prop forwards, but Steve Crossley put his body on the line. He literally had to dive and smother on that ball to stop York getting their second try, but they've earned a goal line dropout.
Yeah, Steve Crossley there, obviously, he absolutely dived on that like he was going into an Olympic diving pool. Great save there, and obviously stopping and forcing the goal line dropout rather than a try. York, when they're on the attack though, I don't know, maybe the Bulls are looking a little bit ropey, Mick. I don't know about you, but York are showing an intensity that maybe we didn't expect.
Well, as we said, speaking to James Ford at the season launch at Huddersfield, he was fairly confident that in terms of minimum standards, his side would be there or thereabouts in those top 5 playoff places. Of course, in League One this season, the first place side will go up automatically, and then it will be 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. They will have the semi-finals and then the playoff final. So Joe Keys back to his feet, gets it up and over halfway. York, though, like a battering ram, as Ross Peltier has just come on the field for the Bulls. Puts a big hit on, but the ball's gone back out the tackle, and it's going to be back down this middle channel, and that's Roman Dixon wearing 16, but referee Matt Rossley is going to give a penalty, seeing Matty Garside flopped there on Sam Scott. And what do you do here? Potentially James Ford might look for 2. Connor Robinson, nope, they're going to keep the pressure on. So a lot of confidence that they can open this Bulls defence for a second time.
Yeah, you're looking at them now, and their hands, whenever they go into the tackle, they've been looking for the offload, and they've knocked it on. And Bradford Bulls force a knock on. Look at that. Look at what that means to the Bulls. Great D.
Fantastic defence. That'll please John Keir. Steve Crossley putting a big hit. He gets a pat on the back there from Elliot Minchella. And the chance has gone begging for the York City Knights. Their 4th error of the afternoon, 10 metres out from the Bradford Bulls try line. If you're just joining us, we've just hit the 20-minute mark here at Bootham Crescent. York opened the scoring after 2 minutes from Kieran Moss. Connor Robinson converted from this main stand touchline, but back come the Bulls. Crossfield kick from Keys, plucked out of the air by Gibson. Keys couldn't convert from a wide angle, and York still value a lot of worth in this 2-point lead. The lead by 6 points to 4. Keys to Johnson. Johnson brought down by Hay and Spears on this left-hand edge. Halafihi on for Hallis. Gives it to Peltier, the former Keighley. And Jamaican International is wrapped up on his own 30-metre line. Halafihi this time will go down the middle once again with Crossley. Crossley looks for support. On his knees going forward. It's the last tackle. Good defensive set for the York City Knights as Keys once again looks to go between Ash Robson and Kieran Moss. Robson takes it on his 10. Back it goes to Kieran Moss. Kieran Moss looks at his support option players. Johnson catches him on the shoulder. Play on is the call. The York City Knights were appealing for a penalty, and they're going to come down the middle there with Brad Hay. Hay brought down by Halafihi, but there's been a clash of heads as Liam Johnson with the black scrum cap remains on his back. It's really tough and physical here. No love lost between these two Yorkshire rivals, and it must be said the last competitive meeting between these two sides was February the 2nd, 1986, when York was still playing at Clarence Street. There was 3,021 in attendance that afternoon. York took the spoils 9-8 courtesy of a Wayne Morrell and Gary Price try, and it was Steve Dobson's drop goal 11 minutes from time that saw York take the spoils. So been a long time before there's been a competitive league meeting between these two Yorkshire rivals, and York certainly having the upper hand in the opening 20 minutes. Time back on. Batchelor gets to his feet. Jubb in at dummy half. Gives it there to Robinson. Support out the back door. Here goes Dixon. Dixon's going to be brought down there. 12 metres out from the Bradford line. Ball and all tackle from Minchella. York, though, fancy the chances on that right-hand edge as Matty Marsh drops the shoulder. This is now the 5th and last tackle. They're in the danger zone. Bradford defended on their own goal line. Jump out of dummy half to try and pinch glory for the Knights, but he's not getting past the huge frame there of Steve Crossley. Perhaps the wrong option there, Tom. It remains York 6, Bradford 4.
Dixon with a huge run there. That break was fantastic. The offload, there was cries from forward from the stand that we're just above. But for me, that was a fantastic break and run. Wrong option there on the last, though.
Neat little offload out the back door there from Ethan Ryan to Halafehi. Halafehi gets to his feet. McNally there to Hallis. And Sam Hallis, the former England amateur captain, brought down 20 shy of the halfway line. Here goes Dalton Grant. Tough physical tackle there from Ronan Dixon and Will Jubb. Halafehi, bit of one-man rugby from the Bulls on this set. Tackle number 4. They're going to kick early in the count from McNally out of dummy half. Kieran Moss races back, stops the ball from going into touch. A risky pass there to Robson. Robson immediately wrapped up there by Peltier and Keys in a 2-man tackle. And now Bradford are looking to put York under the pump and restrict their forward momentum. Good intensity, good rhythm to this one here at Bootham Crescent. It's still the York City Knights 6, the Bradford Bulls 4. Points really at a premium in the League One opener as York look to move the ball over on that right-hand edge as it's going to go with Sam Scott. Sam Scott, though, back on the inside, and here goes Tim Spears. Spears, the skipper for the Knights. Quick play the ball as it goes from Jubb, and Jubb to Scott. Good interlinking play. He's brought down in a 2-man tackle led by Minchella and Smith. It's the last tackle. Robinson has it. He looks for the kick, and now the referee, Matt Rossley, is going to penalise Garside, Hallis and Minchella for encroaching inside the 10, and Connor Robinson immediately holds 2 fingers up to the referee, and he will point to the sticks, and York City Knights will look to double their lead. They'll look to turn 6-4 into 8-4.
Just shy of the 40-metre line, so about 36, 37 metres out. Points a premium, I think, was the phrase that you used a little bit earlier, Mick. Definitely from what we've learned of these opening few minutes, but wow. York have really impressed me so far. Robinson, I think he's very, very good with the boot. He's going to take the points when he gets the chance to do it. And we said, Bradford, if they're going to make mistakes, York are going to welcome it, and they're going to take them out there.
Connor Robinson just lining up the conversion attempt. Around about 38 metres away from the Bradford sticks. The Bull supporters, there's still supporters coming into this ground. And as we've got to say, credit to the York City Knights chairman, John Flatman, for promoting this game. We're probably on course for a record crowd, but Connor Robinson scored a try kick, 5 from 5 in that famous win against the Toronto Wolfpack. He's on point again this afternoon, 2 from 2, and it's the York City Knights 8, the Bradford Bulls 4, and we've just had half an hour gone, and it's worth pointing out, Tom, a very low penalty count from referee Matt Rossley. We've just had 3 all game.
Yeah, letting the game play. I think you've got to, the intensity's been really high. There's been calls from both Bradford and York crying out for pens, maybe high shots or holding down, but referee playing it and letting it go. That's why we're getting such a good quality game.
On the restart from Greg McNally, it's going to catch the wind. Cockayne takes it just outside his own 10 as once again Sam Scott wearing 12. A lot of punishment, a lot of pain out there this afternoon as rid of a risky pass there as Halafehi and Mikey Wood race out of that Bradford Bulls defensive line. Peltier, tackle number 3 gone. The York City Knights find themselves just 15 shy of the halfway line on the 4th. That is Joe Batchelor who's wrapped up. Johnson and Gibson that time. Jubb out of dummy half as it goes to Chris Siddons. Chris Siddons on the fifth and last tackle. Tries to win a penalty, non forthcoming. It goes from Jubb to Robinson. Robinson under pressure from Johnson and Hallis. And there's going to be pressure from McNally. But McNally takes that from the clouds. And he's immediately caught 25 out from his own try line. But the game appearing to open up a little as Lee Smith showing all his former international qualities, just sucking that ball over on that left edge, giving the Bulls a bit of room to work with as Liam Kirk is caught on the shoulder. It goes now from Halafihi. Halafihi to Garside. Garside, one of John Keir's part-time players. He's a teacher in Batley as it goes down the middle with Mikey Wood. Mikey Wood is wrapped up on the fifth and last tackle. Back it goes from Halafihi. Minchella, crossfield kick. Going to come down for Ash Robson. Robson takes it though. He's under pressure from Minchella and Mikey Wood, and he's going to be wrapped up 5 out from his own try line. So, as we said, Tom, very difficult to gauge which way this is going to go. The momentum, not really with either side at the moment. It's all almost like a game of chess. Each side, intricate moves, trying to see who'll blink first.
I'm really impressed with the amount, the decent defence from both sides. Both really showing, no quarter. It's smash mouth in your face, proper Sunday rugby league, and that's how we like it.
Ben Cockayne out of dummy half. On the last tackle now for the York City Knights. Jubb to Robinson. Robinson playing the percentages. Good game management. Finds touch ahead of McNally, and it will be a scrum head and feed to the York City Knights, to the Bradford Bulls. 10 metres out from their own try line. And as we said, the York City Knights and Bradford Bulls looking to set a new crowd attendance record this afternoon. The crowd they've got to beat, 3,224. That was against Hunslet back in May 2005 at the previous home of the York City Knights, the Huntington Stadium. I'd safely say we're looking on course to better that this afternoon. Such has been the promotion from both clubs. Dalton Grant then on tackle number 1 from the base of the scrum, trying to win a penalty from referee Matt Rossley. Not forthcoming as it goes from Halafihi to Garside on that left edge, and Bradford just outside their own 20, finding it tough, finding it hard to get those hard yards forward as Halafihi once again out of dummy half just goes down the middle. It's going to go from Minchella to Peltier. Peltier gets some traction going for the Bulls. He's up to halfway on that left of centre. Here goes Hallis. Hallis to Keys along the line to Johnson. Johnson puts the fend off. It goes to Gibson. Gibson looks for the gap, but it's extinguished there by Robinson and Hay. Fifth and last tackle coming up for the Bradford Bulls. 30 out, just to the right of centre field. Keys, crossfield kick. Chester for Cockayne. Tester completed as Cockayne takes it ball and all, arched his body, protected it, and comes down 5 out from his own try line. It is still the York City Knights 8, the Bradford Bulls 4, but a big hit there from Lee Smith, the captain. Leading by example is going to see Ash Robson come up with York's 5th error of the game, and Bradford now in good attacking position. Good territory here, Tom. 10 out from the York line.
I've been noticing a bit about Bradford. There's been a lot of one-pass rugby on the opening sort of 3 and 4 tackles, whereas you've seen York passing it hands, obviously, on the opening 2 or 3 runs. So when Bradford are starting to ship it out wide, it seems to be getting more options, and obviously we've seen that now. It's starting to pay, and they force a scrum. So 10 out, obviously however many minutes left, 4 points in it. This could be a big, big set for Bradford.
Well, for us viewers on Bulls Live and Proper Sport Live, there's no countdown clock in the stadium, so we're just going off the stopwatch, but around about 35 minutes gone in this one. 5 minutes out from half-time. Brandon Pickersgill, who really did excite John Keir in the pre-season, has just come on for the Bradford Bulls. Pickersgill in, Halafihi out, Keys to Johnson. Johnson wrestling with 3 would-be York defenders, and he's brought down 2 metres shy of that York try line. Scooped up past to Keys from Halafihi to Pickersgill to McNally, out to Ryan, Ethan Ryan, the inside pass to Matty Marsh, and Matty Marsh has picked him off. Chad's gone begging for the Bulls, and the York City Knights once again outsmarting and outfoxing the Bulls. They're going to have ball back in hand, crucially. 10 out from the road try line. Matty Marsh out of dummy half, wrapped up, and free tackle's gone on this set, and they'll just look to calm things down, you feel. Ash Robson chimes into that attacking line, but he can't get past Man Mountain, Peltier and Mikey Wood. Will Jubbin at dummy half. Back it goes there to the big man. That's Adam Robinson. And Robinson gets to his feet, plays the ball. They're going to kick early. Such is the pressure from the Bulls. McNally lets it come forward, picks it up, gives it to Grant. Grant's got to get past here. Moss. And he's going to be wrapped up on the 40, 10 shy of halfway. So Bradford back in possession. 3 minutes to go to half time as here goes Gibson. Bradford's try scorer after 20 minutes. Just inside the Knights territory now as it goes from Halafihi to Keys. Keys to Wood, and Wood is wrapped up in a three-man tackle. Spears and Jubb. Minchella now to Pickersgill. To Garside. Garside almost slam dunks the ball back to Peltier. Peltier wiggling his way forward. Wrapped up on tackle number 4. 15 metres inside the York half. Centre field. Here goes Keys through a gap. Keys inside support from Minchella. The Bulls are going to cut open the York City Knights just before half time. And Elliot Minchella, who scored 2 tries in the pre-season, has opened his account for 2018. We're all locked up at Bootham Crescent in the League One opener. It's the York City Knights 8, the Bradford Bulls 8. Kick to come from Joe Keys.
What a run from Keys. He opened up York perfectly there, going through, darting. He did like a little bit of a shuffle and he went through, and what just a simple pass to Minchella, and he just ably puts it down. Bradford equal with York on the scoreboard. York have put on a fantastic show so far, but how much of a morale kick is that to be potentially 2 points down going into the half-time? But what a run from Keys. Give that as much as you can give the try to Minchella, you've got to give it the huge assist to Keys for an absolutely brilliant run.
Joe Keys did something similar at Odsall last Sunday against Keighley, orchestrating 2 tries for Johnson. This time it's Minchella on the inside in support, and Keys missed with the earlier conversion to Gibson. Strikes this one perfectly between the posts, over the black dot. 39 minutes gone on the stopwatch here at Bootham Crescent in this Betfred League One opener between the York City Knights and the Bradford Bulls. And the Bulls now have the lead for the first time in this game, 10 points to 8. And he's got to be said, we almost mentioned a very intricate game of chess. Both sides tested each other. It's been a game of fine margins, Tom, but Keys, cometh the hour, cometh the man. He had the key to unlock that Knights defence.
Yeah, we're seeing that in the comments on the Facebook feed. Keep your comments coming in throughout the game. Over 1,500 of you watching. Thank you very much for joining us on the league opener. But Keys, that was a sensational run, and great to see it in vision here on Proper Sport and Bulls Live.
Bradford then up to the 3rd tackle on the restart. Halafihi to Johnson. Forward pass called by referee Matt Ross Lee as Chris Siddons appealed to the touch judge on this main stand side. Bradford's 3rd error in open play. York have only made 5, so 8 errors in the whole game. That gives you an idea of how this one has been. Fast pace and certainly a high quality standard of rugby league football. So a chance now for York as we just enter the 40th minute. So it's a time added on. The referee, to be fair, has stopped the clock a couple of occasions as Jubb takes it out, goes to Hay on this narrow stand side. 20 metres out on tackle number 1. Can York wrestle back the lead just before half time? A tough set of 6 for the Bulls to hold out as Joe Porter, the second row Interchange forward, carries them to within 12 metres out. Quick play the ball. Robinson and Marsh linking as it goes to Adam Robinson over on that right hand edge. They're inside the Bradford 10. York down the middle. They're going to go. Here he goes. Robinson. Oh, he's found the support from Jubb. And Jubb, has he reached out and score? The referee points the finger to say he's short. He's a metre shy of the line. York looking to get back in front here. Robinson kicks through. Who's going to get there? There's a try there for the York City Knights, is there? The referee's going to say knock on. And Joe Batchelor, he's been adjudged to have knocked the ball on in the act of scoring. The York City Knights pyrotechnics are letting off the fireworks to our right as a big collision in centre field is going to see Bradford come up with a fourth error. Difficult to describe that one. Joe Batchelor absolutely furious with a touch judge on this main stand side. He's adamant that he got downward pressure to Connor Robinson's grubber behind Greg McNally and the Bulls defensive line. That decision's gone the way of the Bulls, but the pressure not over yet. Robinson to Hay brought down by Keys and Gibson. Second minute of time added on here at the end of a fantastic, enthralling, thrilling first half at Bootham Crescent in York. York going pound for pound, toe to toe with the Bradford Bulls. Here goes Will Jubb to Connor Robinson. Robinson to Marsh. Marsh on the angle, gives it there to Sam Scott. Sam Scott's brought down 5 metres shy of the line. The Bulls don't like that. Here goes Ash Robson. Out of dummy half as he's going to go back to Marsh, and Marsh is going to be brought down and upended. 3 minutes now into added on time. The Bulls not happy with the decisions. Will Jubb, is he going to poach one from acting half? He can't get past. Some stern defence there from the Bradford Bulls, and it will be the fifth and last tackle. The pressure cooker mounting. Matty Marsh to Connor Robinson. Robinson on the power play for the Knights, kicks forward looking for Kieran Moss, but Dalton Grant got there, and Dalton Grant, great defensive read there from the Bulls, and they look to be going into the sheds at half time by 10 points to 8. What a frenetic period of play, Tom.
Earlier on, Dalton Grant, of course, made a mistake, but he's made up for it there, managing to get it off. For me, over to the right side, the Bulls' defence stood tall, held York out brilliantly, and now they've got the opportunity to try and marshal them back up the field.
Ross Peltier with ball in hand. 3 would-be defenders bring him down 15 shy of the halfway line. Sam Scott and Chris Siddons in defence there for the Knights. Pickersgill in the halves now, along the line to Mikey Wood. Mikey Wood brought down on the fifth and last tackle, just shy of the halfway line, as Pickersgill will put boot to ball, looking to turn around. Ash Robson, who's lost the ball. The referee thought about putting whistle to lips. He says it's gone back. Here's Kieran Moss, who scored a famous try at Odsall in that 2016 season against Halifax. A lot of Bradford supporters will remember that one as York come down the middle channel. I think both sides just want half time to come, and right on cue, the referee puts whistle to lips. The hooter will bring a halt to proceedings. Half time here in the League One Betfred opener between the York City Knights and the Bradford Bulls, and it's the Bradford Bulls who certainly know they've been in a battle in this first half, leading the York City Knights by 10 points to 8. Raucous cheers, the main stand full of York supporters. They're all on the feet. They know that they're 17 Warriors.
At Bootham Crescent, Mick Gledhill will be alongside me, Tom Maguire, on commentary very shortly as we get ready for the second half. Just so you know, the sort of fog or smoke you can see on the screen is because the fireworks have gone off, and well, safe to say we're choking on it up here in the gantry. But away we go with the second half. Bradford Bulls kicking right to left, and here we go. And York City Knights' first drive of the second half coming in. So apologies to all our Facebook watchers who have rejoined us. Thank you so much for rejoining us. A bit of a technical difficulty, hence why there's a second stream that has now come and joined us. And thank you very much for joining us. If you'd like to share the video, it would really help us out here on Bulls Live on Proper Sport. Mick Gledhill back on commentary duties with me. Mick, welcome back.
Yeah, Bradford leading 10 points to 8. York's first attacking raid of the second half. We'll see Robinson get a little bit of attention from Johnson, nothing untoward. And McNally, once again, safe as houses under the high ball. And it'll be interesting to see what York City Knights do after the interval to see if they change anything, because for the majority of this match they really have gone toe-to-toe with the Bradford Bulls, heavy favourites in 2018. Here they come on this main stand side. Garside up to halfway. Halafihi in dummy half, attacking the markers. Gets 10, 15 metres. It's the last tackle. Smith to Pickersgill. Pickersgill pushed to the floor there by Cockayne. Ash Robson, the York fullback, takes it. Turns defence into attack. Looks on a run, and he's brought down there by Keys, who really has been one of Bradford's standout players. Here goes Kieran Moss now, over on that left hand edge for the York City Knights, brought down by Mikey Wood and Joe Keys in a two-man tackle. Brad Hare, 5 metres inside the York half, just to the left of centre field. Matty Marsh, Andy Ellis. Ellis getting a lot of attention from those Bradford defenders. Fourth tackle gone, 30 out as they go down that middle channel. Chris Siddons gets to his feet. It is the last tackle. Matty Marsh, former Hulkinson Rovers Young Player of the Year. Sees the ball palmed back there by Ethan Ryan. Cockayne picks it up, so 6 again is the call from referee Ross Lee. So York, early pressure on the Bradford line at the start of this second half as Joe Porter is wrapped up. Quick play the ball. Matty Marsh finds Connor Robinson. Did he go behind his man? Referee says no. A lenient advantage there for the York City Knights. Back they're going to come down this middle channel. Chris Siddons gets the legs pumping and heads towards the post, but he's brought down in a two-man tackle by McNally and Minchella. Here goes Sam Scott. Scott now in a free-man tackle from the Bulls. Peltier coming in at the side there. Will Jubb gives it there to Joe Porter, and Porter's wrapped up on the last. So Bradford doing well at the start of this second half. Will Jubb puts it behind the defensive line. He's just put a little bit too much on that. Here goes Liam Johnson. Johnson taps it. York but not back 10, so he's going to get some good metres forward for the Bulls. That pendulum swinging from left to right in that first half, and we're going to have more of the same in the second as Ethan Ryan will give the ball there to Gibson, and Gibson's going to be wrapped up. Gibson and Minchella for the Bulls. Moss and 2 conversions. One a conversion, one a penalty from Connor Robinson. 8-10, the Bulls lead. Garside to Pickersgill, who dances into the attacking line, trying to pirouette his way to the line. But a risky pass. It's gone past Steve Crossley, and the York City Knights have picked the ball up to huge ironic cheers. And Bradford, well, they've not made many errors this afternoon. That is error number 4 in open play, but they've put themselves under a lot of pressure there after Johnson had made headway. We've had 5 minutes gone at the start of the second half. Here goes the huge frame of Adam Robinson. Robinson brought down by Steve Crossley, ball and all. Robson out of dummy half. Crossley's reefed the ball out one-on-one, and it's gone back to Johnson, so Bradford have the ball back. And Johnson's brought down on tackle number 1. 5 shy of the halfway line. The Bulls faithful to my left, the one in a penalty. None forthcoming as Ash Gibson's going to be brought down in a free-man tackle. And Bradford, 2 tackles gone on this set of 6. The slenderest of leads by 10 points to 8. Halafihi to Crossley. Oh, it's getting tough out there as Crossley looks to offload the ball but decides to keep hold. 3rd tackle gone. 5 now inside the York City Knights half as it goes to Minchella. Minchella probing, looking for Pickersgill. Pickersgill to Smith. Smith, can he release? Ryan though wrapped up. The 2-2s collide on this main stand side. Cockayne, a lot of Super League experience, wrapping up young Ethan Ryan at the start of his career. As Mikey Wood now is brought down on the 5th and last tackle for the Bradford Bulls. They're 20 metres out to the left of the post in centre field as Keys, crossfield kick looking for Dalton Grant. Kieran Moss takes it, Kieran Moss is trapped in goal, and that was a beautiful, perfectly weighted kick from Joe Keys. He's caused the York City Knights no end of problems this afternoon. He's brought his A game to Bootham Crescent, and the Bulls have a repeat set. 47 minutes gone, Bulls live, proper sport live. The Bulls leading by 10 points to 8.
And I'll tell you something, Pickersgill's come on and started this second half absolutely on fire. It's a shame that the pass a few sets earlier was passed away, but well held in. But Pickersgill's come on and done absolutely fantastic. The Keys ball there into the goal line, and then they just forced the goal line, drop out. Great start from Bradford Bulls, keep it up.
Garside gets up, plays the ball rather gingerly there. Pickersgill to Crossley down the middle, back on the inside, the support from Halafihi, and Vila Halafihi now turned over on his back. The Bradford Bull supporters behind the sticks wanting a penalty. Referee Matt Rossley caves into the pressure. They were really beseeching the young London-based Australian official. They're not going to go for two, the Bulls. They can smell blood, and it's going to be tapped to Minchella in front of the post, 2 metres out. Halafihi misses outward to Pickersgill, to Keys on that angled drive, brought down in a three-man tackle. The penalty count, incidentally, 2 penalties apiece, just 4 penalties all game, as Mikey Ward trying to get that ball carrying arm to reach out and touch down, but Will Jubb coming all over. Here goes Crossley! Crossley's going to batter ram his way. The Bulls have further extended the lead. It's a third try, and the 27-year-old, his third spell at the Bulls, and the former Clayton amateur is dancing with delight in front of the travelling hordes. It's 14 points to 8, a crucial moment in this game.
You're not going to stop. You are not going to stop a man of that size at that far short of a range out, and he just bulldozed over the York defence. And York's defence has been absolutely fantastic in the first half, but Bulls starting the second half with great intent. Maybe John Keir's words still echoing in their heads. Of course, a 14 points to 8 lead at Bootham Crescent, not to be sniffed at. The kick, it looks pretty easy for Keys, but of course we'll wait and see for that. But what a run from Crossley, just bulldozes over, does what any great forward does when they're that close to the try line, just flop over, get the ball down.
Steve Crossley played in both games against the York City Knights last year, and as we've already said, throughout the afternoon, York had that famous victory. Are Bradford about to start life in League One under John Keir with a win? This is certainly one of those difficult fixtures that he put in the top category. Keys, this will give the Bulls a 2-score advantage, an 8-point cushion right in front of the sticks. There's no Don Fox moment here at Bootham Crescent, and it is the Bradford Bulls 16, the York City Knights 8. And as John Keir has said prior to the game, everyone really excited. They're on about taking to the field in anger. The pre-season has been really good, and it really did lead to John Keir having a bit of a selection headache. But should the Bradford Bulls go on and get 2 vital League One points in terms of their promotion push for 2018, his decision to go with the starting 17 will be vindicated. Ethan Ryan on the restart, Smithin at dummy half to Garside, and Garside won the championship with Sheffield in 2013. He's brought down just 10 shy of halfway. Bradford have a spring in the step. They've raised the intensity levels. They now lead 16-8 as Minchella shrugs off Jubb at dummy half. Here goes Halafihi on a lateral run. He's going to be swallowed up there by the huge frame of Adam Robinson, and he's brought down in centre field. Quick play the ball. McNally to Crossley. Here we go. Crossley enjoys these big physical confrontations. And on the restart after his try, they brought down 35 out from the York line. Once again, Keys is going to spring in his step. Ash Robson over on that left-hand edge takes it. James Ford swapping Moss with Robson, realising that Keir's threat from those aerial bombardment. And York City Knights now under the pump, under the cosh, trying to get a bit of momentum, a bit of go forward as Bradford getting over the advantage line in both attack and defence. Johnson and Crossley in a two-man tackle though. Here goes Ben Kane, the old stager, 33 years of age, brought down just shy of the halfway line on tackle number 4. Matty Marsh out of dummy half. Picked up perfectly there. Here go the York City Knights. The pass by Joe Batchelor, and Joe Batchelor's going to go 40 metres down that left-hand edge, cantering over for the second try of the York City Knights. The fireworks are in the air again, and it's now 16 points to 12.
I thought at first the ball had gone on the floor, he was going to knock it on, but he ably kept that in his hands, and he just shrugged off anyone that was going anywhere near him. Sheer determination to run in, 30 metres maybe at best. It was a great run, and Batchelor with a try, fantastic. And we talked in the first half about this being a game of like chess, a very slow paced maybe, or just very integral for your moves, and this is coming hit by hit for both of them. York starting to come back into it after Bradford started fantastically, and could we maybe be back to a level playing field with these 2 points?
Connor Robinson lines up the conversion attempt. 16 points to 12. Are we about to go back to a 2-point ball game with the left boot? That one's gone across the face of the post. 16-12 the score remains, but take a bow. Tim Spears, the captain of the York City Knights, an ever-present last season, played in 24 games. He might have only scored 2 tries in 2017, but his leadership, along with the guile and experience of Ben Kane, that's the driving force behind this York City Knights side. And whatever happens in the remaining 26 minutes here at Bootham Crescent, head coach James Ford can be really proud of the effort that his York City Knights side have put in against the Bradford Bulls, the league favourites this afternoon. They can smell blood though. They potentially can see themselves walking away with 2 points in front of this record crowd. So on the restart, York once again, tenacious attack, tenacious defence, attritional out of dummy half from Matty Marsh, wrapped up there by Johnson and Halafihi. Third tackle gone. Jubb is going to give the ball to Porter, and Porter's going to be wrapped up 8 shy of halfway. Mikey Wood and Johnson, the two Huddersfield low knees there in a 2-man tackle as the kick comes in early from Connor Robinson. It's going to turn around McNally. McNally takes it 5 out from his own line, gives it in turn to Ethan Ryan, and Ethan Ryan is brought down there by Scott and Spears in a 2-man tackle. So good kick chase defence from the white-shirted York City Knights side. Here goes Lee Smith. Lee Smith runs laterally, doesn't get any headway. Quick play the ball though. Bradford have a bit of momentum as it goes to Dalton Grant. Grant wrestling with Jubb in a 2-man tackle. Jubb brings him down 12 shy of the halfway line. Halafihi down the middle with Wood. Oh, big loud slap as the 2 forwards there, Wood and Porter, collide, and he's brought down centre field just shy of the halfway line. Here goes Minchella looking to show some neat footwork there. Wrapped up, 5 inside the York half on the 5th and last tackle. It's going to go to Pickersgill. It's Peppers one behind the York City Knights try line. Kieran Moss has to race forward, takes it, and gets a tackle from Pickersgill, and Garside for his pain. Here goes Ben Kane, wrapped up there by Minnie, and also Steve Crossley for the Bulls. Kieran Moss out of dummy half. Was that across the face? The referee says shoulder. The 24-year-old enigmatic Australian looking to try and show his sparkle on the proceedings. Here goes Jubb, just shy of the halfway line. The skipper, Captain Fantastic, Tim Spears, carries them up and over the halfway line. Last tackle, the York City Knights. They've extinguished their tackles on this set. A high hanging kick now for McNally. McNally takes it under pressure, and he will now turn defence into attack. And after those 2 tries, Tom, from Crossley and Batchelor, we're now back in this arm wrestle again. Very attritional out there.
Yeah, very much like the first half, giving and getting, toing and throwing between the 2 sides. But that is how these 2 sides have been since the whistle went off. Penalty, of course, for York here. I'm not sure what that one was for, mate.
The referee very clear in 2018. We saw it in the NRL over the weekend. You've got to get to your feet and play the ball. So a costly penalty there. That has gone against the Bradford Bulls. 3-2 the count. York will look at options. Connor Robinson has ball in hand. He's going to surely kick to touch and put Bradford under pressure, which he will do. He finds touch. Just 25 out from the Bradford line, and now the Bulls, they've got to show some of that stoic defence that they show against the Toronto Wolfpack earlier on in the pre-season. Spears on tackle number 1, wrapped up by Hallis, who's back out there, and Johnson. Here goes Porter. They're like bumper cars, bouncing off each other as Porter has a tilt at the line. 5 metres out now. York trailing 16-12 as it goes to Marsh. Oh, he's gone without the ball, Sam Scott. If Sam Scott had regathered the ball, he would have surely gone between Pickersgill and Crossley, and York would have levelled the game up. As it is, fine margins in rugby league, and York's 6th error will see Bradford back in possession. Here goes Mikey Wood. Mikey Wood's brought down. 15 out from the halfway line. Hallis goes in with a shoulder, and he brings down by Sam Scott and Will Jubb wearing the white scrum cap. Here goes Mikey Wood. 2 metres now inside the York City Knights half. Hallis finds Keys. Keys to Johnson. Johnson takes 4 York City Knights defenders out of that defensive line. It will be the last tackle. Hallis to Keys. Keys looking to put Kieran Moss under pressure, but Kieran Moss takes it. And Kieran Moss is going nowhere because that was great kick from Joe Keys and George Milton in defence there, wrapping up Kieran Moss. Although York looking to open up the Bulls on this main stand side as Pickersgill has to come in, and they're going to wrap the York City Knights up. 15 out from their own try line. Ash Robson now, bit of one-man rugby from the York City Knights. We're approaching the hour mark here. 20 minutes remaining. It's been attritional. It's York 12, Bradford 16. Crossley and Milton in defence. And now the Bradford Bulls are going to get the penalty from the referee for not playing the ball correctly. Throwing the ball between his legs, and he's going to ping Sam Scott. So the penalty count now is at 3 apiece, and Lee Smith has a decision to make. Do they go for the 2 points, which is certainly in Joe Keys' kicking range? They're showing a lot of respect to the City Knights. Joe Keys points to the sticks, and Bradford have a chance to restore the 6-point cushion here at Bootham Crescent.
Yeah, it was only 2 points at the half, and I think it's showing Bradford Bulls there, showing a lot of respect to York City Knights, who've really, really turned up in this game and have met them, you know, set for set in defence and attack. It's been a very close game, and I think if, you know, that 2-point cushion might pay dividends to Bradford later on. And like you say, it's in Keys' kicking distance. We saw obviously York slot one over earlier as well. I think it's been an overall a fantastic game. So many of you getting in touch with us on Facebook. Thank you very much for doing so. If you could share the video as well, we'd greatly appreciate it. Bulls live here for the 2018 season on Proper Sport, and Keys lines up the kick.
Joe Keys meticulous in his composure, looks at the ball, draws that imaginary line. Joe Keys gives the Bradford Bulls an extra 2 points on the scoreboard, and it is now the York City Knights 12, the Bradford Bulls 18 in the 62nd minute here at Bootham Crescent. Bradford's last league win, incidentally, in the city of York. You've got to go back to the Peter Fox days. April the 25th, 1982 at Wigginton Road. It was York 19, Bradford Northern 30, and they had such stars as Ellery Hanley, Keith Mumbley, Alan and Dave Redfern, Brian Noble, Les Grant, Phil Sanderson. The list goes on. It was a very special period for the sporting public of Bradford after Bradford Northern had gone back-to-back in 79-80 and 80-81. On the restart then, the Bulls of 2018 leading York 18 points to 12. Hallis wrapped up there by Spears. Spears going for the legs, bringing him down in a heap. of York defenders on the halfway line. Here goes Pickersgill. Pickersgill to Wood. John Keir did say he was going to keep things simple, and I think we've just seen on this set of 6 that emphasis to keep things simple and not do too much fancy dancy stuff. Pickersgill on the last to Kieran Moss again. He's been under a lot of aerial bombardments this afternoon, and Pickersgill put the kick up, chases it with George Milton, and he's going to bring down Kieran Moss on his own 10. The floodlights just starting to come on here at a gloomy looking Bootham Crescent. Bradford hunting the first win in the Betfred League One. Both sides have a week off next week. Bradford will be at home to the West Wales Raiders. York will face a tricky assignment against Cumbrian amateurs Askham of the National Conference League. But what have York got left in the tank? This one is not over by any imagination. York City Knights 12, Bradford Bulls 18. Ellis is back out there on the field. And Andy Ellis gives the ball to Matty Marsh. Marsh drills one downfield along the carpet. Picked up there by Dalton Grant. And the Welsh wizard is wrapped up just outside, just past his own 20. McNally in there at dummy half. Gives it to Gibson. Gibson's brought down. No real gain there from the Bradford Bulls. Keys to Ryan. Ryan takes the pain, the punishment as the 2 prop forwards of York and Andy Ellis wrap him up 10 shy of halfway. Here goes Pickersgill. Pickersgill to Gibson. Gibson caught across the shoulder, says referee Matt Rossley, who's certainly refereed this game really well. He's had a stand in and a foot in and a lot of authority from the first whistle. Again, that's gauged by just 6 penalties in 65 minutes of action. The Bulls 10 inside the York half on the last. Keys, it's going to come down with snow on it. Kieran Moss looks for options. Thought about the pass to Cockayne, and he's going to be wrapped up there by Liam Kirk, who's just come back out there on the field. Hallison, Kirk and Keys there marshalling that defensive strategy for the Bulls. So York City Knights back in possession. What can they do? They're deep inside their own half. They're over on that left-hand edge. Brad Hay brought down there by Keys and Johnson in a 2-man tackle in front of the packed main stand here. Sold out prior to kick-off, so the 1,600 supporters over there in the main stand. Many more behind the sticks as Andy Ellis is going to win a penalty. A lazy arm there from Sam Hallis. The referee, though, is going to ping Bradford for being inside the 10. And York now, Tom, another opportunity. 14 minutes to go. They're going to have a full set, 30 out.
You cannot welcome York in when they've been playing with this intensity. York have been absolutely fantastic so far. Scoreline is ever so close, and that's why the Bulls took that penalty and took the extra 2 points. That's how much they're respecting their opponents. 15 out now. If they can make it pay here, it could be in for a grandstand finish.
Dixon gets to his feet, plays the ball. Robinson to Marsh. Marsh to Moss. Moss wrapped up 10 metres out on this main stand side. Marsh out of dummy half. He's going to attack Garside and Kirk, and he's brought down 2 metres shy of the Bradford Bulls try line. Ellis in there at dummy half. Options to the left. He's going to find Batchelor. Joe Batchelor's in for the double. The fireworks go off once again, and it's York City Knights 16, the Bradford Bulls 18. The kick to come from Connor Robinson, 5 metres to the left-hand side of the uprights. And that costly penalty given away by Sam Hallis has seen York capitalise. And Joe Batchelor, he's got a brace.
Well, there's not been that many penalties, to be fair. Like we talked about this in the first half, the referee has let the game go. And so when the penalty came, it was a lazy one from Hallis. You get your hand lower. And York absolutely grasping that opportunity with both hands. Batchelor obviously getting his second. We've seen how good of a kicker Robertson is. You've got to be thinking this is going to tie it back up, and we're going to be in for one heck of a finish. Of course, they're lining it up now. The Bradford Bulls having a little bit of a team meeting, having a little bit of a natter and a chatter. Robinson lines up the kick.
Robinson with the left boot. No mistake. 3 from 4 attempts this afternoon here in the Betfred League One opener. 18 points apiece. We're all locked up at Bootham Crescent. Don't divert your ears, your eyes away from Bulls Live, Proper Sport Live, because this one is going right down to the wire. What a great advert for League One this has been. Greg McNally will line the ball up on the halfway line. A lot of experience. Made his rugby league debut for Whitehaven, aged 17, before spells at Huddersfield, Barrow and Lee. Current Irish international, along with Joe Keys in this Bradford side. What can McNally do? Can he pull something special out of the bag? Or can York go upfield and score again? Kieran Moss on tackle number 2. Wrapped up there by Garside. And Garside comes in on the cover tackle, bringing down Matty Marsh. Matty Marsh peeling for a penalty. Non forthcoming. Back they come down the middle via Tim Spears. And Tim Spears, the captain, leading by example. He wants to take the pain and punishment from Crossley and Kirk. Up and over halfway they go. Chris Siddons. It's the last tackle for the Knights. 45 out. Connor Robinson drills one into touch. Greg McNally not going to risk making a play for that ball, and that has turned the Bradford Bulls around. York City Knights 18, the Bradford Bulls 18, 67 gone, 13 minutes remain here. Who's going to win this one?
Well, Greg McNally showing a lot of experience there. He knew it was just going out. He sat off and just waited for it to go out. And the Bradford Bulls obviously on their own 10 now. Got to go 90 metres, but York City's defence has been really good. Going to be a tough task, but my. What a treat you're having here on Bulls Live and Proper Sport.
A lot of tired legs out there. The fatigue will be starting to creep in. Bradford, of course, had those 5 pre-season fixtures. York had 3 as James Ford and John Keir got their squads and players in preparation for this afternoon's league opener. Kirk, a very gingerly, slow, groggy play the ball. Hallis to Johnson. Johnson on that right-hand edge. Back they come down the centre with Crossley. Crossley attracting free. York City Knight defenders. Last tackle, says referee Rossley. What are the Bulls going to do? They're going to give the ball from Hallis to Keys. And once again, Keys drills one between Moss and Cockayne. He's put a little bit too much on it. That'll give the Knights a 7 tackle set. The Bulls at least will set their defensive stall up on the York 30. And it's Kieran Moss who's brought down. 9 tries in 13 games under head coach Rowan Smith, who brought him over from the Penrith Panthers. Chris Siddons on tackle 2. Johnson and Crossley. The players earning their bonus payments. Who's going to win? 18 points apiece. Just shy of the 70th minute here. Sam Scott gets to his feet. Shrugs off Milton. Plays the ball. Andy Ellis directing the movement and the flow. He's brought down just shy of the 30. They're in centre field with Robinson. Robinson shows and goes. Kirk grabs hold of the shirt. He's found the support though from Ellis. Here goes Chris Siddons. Chris Siddons. Chris Siddons. Chris Siddons for the York City Knights. He's over the line. The referee says he's held up. They'll go back to the 10. He'll stop the clock. What drama here at Bootham Crescent. York City Knights thought they'd regain the lead through Chris Siddons, but the referee, Matt Rossley, perfectly placed, and Chris Siddons will go back to the 10. Siddons then, the danger not over for the Bulls. Ellis down the middle, they're gonna go. It's Dixon, and Dixon has a tilt at the Bulls line. He's turned over on his back on the 5th and last tackle. Exactly 70 minutes gone, 10 minutes to go. It's 18 points apiece. Connor Robinson off the left boot. The drop goal is good. It's gone into some terraced housing garden behind the stand. And it's the York City Knights 19, the Bradford Bulls 18. 9.5 minutes to go. The Bulls have got to chase the game. Unbelievable scenes here at Bootham Crescent. Listen to the noise. The stands, the gantry, everything's shaking.
What a game we are seeing on the opening game of the Betfred League One season for the Bradford Bulls. York City Knights have been in this game throughout the game since the start, and that 1 point That's how much they know that it could be so tight. Bradford Bulls, they're going to have to really push in and dig deep now. John Keir aiming for his first competitive win, of course, with the Bradford Bulls. And here we go.
They've just announced the attendance. It will be the biggest ever York City Knights attendance at home. 4,328 have packed out Bootham Crescent this afternoon. This one's not over. The York City Knights lead the Bulls. 19 points to 18 is a huge upset on the cards in week 1 of the Betfred League One. As York, they're inside the Bradford half. 15 metres they've advanced on the last tackle. Connor Robinson looking to put one in and trouble Dalton Grant, but Dalton Grant will have the ball. Here goes McNally. McNally to Pickersgill. Heavy collision. The Bulls, it's unrelenting. Here goes Lee Smith now down the middle, down that right-hand edge. 4,328, announced the PA announcer. That beats the 3,224 that were in the old Huntington Stadium in 2005. Here goes Peltier, past the halfway line. Penalty to the Bradford Bulls. The ball's been stolen. The referee looks at Tim Spears and Sam Scott and Peltier. Oh, there's a bit of shirt grabbing here. And the referee just watching on, looking to calm things down. The Bradford Bulls awarded a penalty. It is certainly on Joe Keys' radar, and he is already looking at the post, looks at the ball. Is the kicking tee going to come on? The touch judge on this main stand side just having a word with referee Matt Rossley, who is going to ask for one of the York City Knights players to come towards him. The kicking tee out there on the field. This will be a pressure kick for Joe Keys. Bradford potentially could be back in front at 20 points to 19. What an enthralling game of rugby league this has been. Who says League One is dead and there's no excitement outside of Super League? The referee just speaking to both captains. Tim Spears of the York City Knights, Lee Smith of the Bradford Bulls. Probably just saying 6 minutes remaining. No silly business. You don't want to cost your side the chance of earning 2 valuable points on the opening day of the season. So Joe Keys then, from 45 metres out, just to the left of the post. The Bulls fans in the David Longhurst stand behind the sticks. They will suck this one over. It's between the posts. Bradford Bulls take the lead. This one's going like a helter-skelter. It's now 20 points to 19. And listen to the noise from the Bulls faithful now. 6 minutes remaining here. Bootham Crescent rocking once more. And have York City Knights got something left in the tank to get something from this?
Connor Robinson, I'm telling you now, you can see it in his eyes how eager he is to get back into it. Big kick from the York City Knights. It's running by the Bulls. First tackle and the 3 men wrapping them up well. Of course, 20 points to 19 to the visitors, Bradford Bulls. And my, you've been treated to a great game here on Bulls Live on Proper Sport.
Bradford on the restart. Sam Hallis, ball in hand. McNally in at dummy half to Pickersgill to Peltier. Peltier turns and runs laterally. Brought down. 20 in from the main stand side. Tim Spears wraps him up at the legs. Referee says get on with it. Hallis, short pass to Johnson. Johnson's brought down in York territory. York 19, Bradford 20. Here goes Milton, and Milton gets the legs pumping. It's the fifth and last now, 15 metres inside the York half. It goes from Hallis to Keys. Keys drills one into touch. Ash Robson just thought about making a play, but the sheer power behind the kick, they're happy to take the scrum, and they will force time off here, as there's a little bit of pushing and shoving there between Joe Batchelor and Sam Hallis. Do we have a winner? 5 minutes plus added on time here. The Betfred League One opener, Tom. We've certainly been royally treated this afternoon by these two sides.
Thrilling game, enthralling in both attack and defence. No quarter given. We've been saying it throughout the second half. It's been really, really good. I'm watching Ethan Ryan here on the left wing for Bradford. And you could just see the relief when that goal went over. So it's 20 points to 19 in favour of the Bulls. You saw how quick York wanted to start that scrum, and they're back underway with the ball.
Well, both coaches in their pre-match amble said that their squads are both physically and mentally prepared for a tough season, and they're really looking forward to it. And oh boy, have the Knights and the Bulls served up a rugby league spectacular here at Bootham Crescent. This one still has legs. 4 minutes remaining. Ellis out of dummy half, up to halfway. Just to the left of centre field, Johnson and Peltier, who's now got strapping. Robinson tries some inventive play to Dalton Grant, and Dalton Grant, he's took it on his knees and he slid over the main stand touchline into touch, scrum to the York City Knights, head and feed, 25 metres out. 3.5 minutes remain, and we're going to see lightning strike twice as Connor Robinson perhaps will look to get the ball in good position to potentially lock us up once more. The referee stops the clock. And just looking at Ross Peltier there with the white bandage across his forehead, it really is walking wounded out there. What a tough attritional start to the season. Can York get something from this game? 20 metres out in front of the sticks. Ellis at dummy half. Matty Marsh still going forward. Wrapped up there by Steve Crossley. Bradford don't want to give a penalty away in front of the sticks. Here goes Ellis. Ellis towards the line. Ellis is going to be brought down a metre shy. Pickersgill come in as the last defender. It goes back to Matty Marsh, to Robinson. Robinson to Moss. Out it goes to Hay. As that touch a Bradford hand. The referee says back to one. Bradford have the ball with York have the ball with Kieran Moss over on the far stand side. Here goes Batchelor, who has a tilt at the line. 2 minutes remaining. York trailing by a point. It goes to Connor Robinson. He lays it off on a plate there to Adam Robinson. And Robinson, the two Robinsons combine as Peltier comes in. Both sides, little left in the tank. Here goes Robinson to Matty Marsh. Matty Marsh past Garside. Has a tilt at the line. He's on top of it. He's over it. Can he get the ball down? The referee says no, he's held up. Good protection of the ball there from Greg McNally. He wrapped Matty Marsh up, and we're on the fourth tackle. York running out of tackles. 90 seconds remaining. It goes from Ellis. Ellis to Porter. Porter is wrapped up, and this will be tackle number 4, says the referee. Ellis across the line. It goes to Robinson. Robinson to Connor Robinson. The ball's live. York are going to claim a try. Have they scored at the diff? The touch judge has stood his ground. The fireworks are going off. The referee says no try. They're going to say Bradford have grounded the ball. What drama here at Bootham Crescent. The final minute here, and the Bulls defending like their lives depend on it. The clock will be stopped. Ashley Gibson's got cramp in goal. It's York 19, the Bradford Bulls 20.
What a remarkable finish we're getting here. League One is absolutely fantastic and filled with talent. Bradford Bulls and York City Knights are showcasing that to us live here on Facebook Live on Proper Sport and Bradford Bulls on Bulls Live. I'll be honest with you, I was a bit concerned there that York had managed to get it down. I thought that they've caused Bradford Bulls all sorts of problems with their kicks. Robinson's been fantastic with his kicks, but the referee ruling that Bradford did ground it. And that might be just that magic moment that secures the first win in League One.
The goal line restart fielded there by Matty Marsh. The man of the match chosen by the York City Knights sponsors and directors goes to Adam Robinson. I don't think anyone in this crowd of 4,328 can begrudge him that award. Tim Spears offloads the ball in the tackle. Ellis, Scott in at dummy half. Back to Marsh, to Robinson. Robinson to Batchelor. Batchelor's on for the hat-trick. Where's Connor Robinson? Is he in a position to go and level it up again? No, York hunting the try. They can sense blood. Robinson wrapped up 10 metres out in front of the stakes. Grandstand finale here at Bootham Crescent. Andy Ellis goes himself, lays it off to Robinson. The huge frame there of Adam Robinson. Last tackle, he's wrapped up on his back. Adam Robinson's calling for the ball. He's limping. Can he strike it again? In front of the sticks. The York fans will tell you that one is over the sticks and over the black dot. And it's now the York City Knights 20, the Bradford Bulls 20. We're locked up again, 20 points apiece. And I think I've got to be honest, Tom, here, a draw, a fair result for everybody's efforts. This has been Herculean.
What a game, and a draw would be absolutely fitting to both sides. Both efforts, both attack and defence have been great. I think York City Knights have showcased that Bradford Bulls are going to have a tough task in League One. They are really the scalp. They're going to have to keep an eye in every game. And Connor Robinson with another drop goal definitely puts it over. Brilliant kick, brilliant work, brilliant rugby league.
The referee has halted proceedings. Connor Robinson, I mentioned he was limping, he was looking a little bit gingerly, like he was half expecting not to get the ball, and here he is limping back, and he'll set his attacking position. York will get the ball on the restart. 20 points apiece. Strap yourselves in. This has been one hell of a roller coaster. Who is going to take the spoils as York come back at the Bulls? It's unrelenting, fast-paced, frenetic. Steve Crossley-Peltier bringing down the big frame there. Here they go, down this left-hand edge as it goes with Sam Scott. Sam Scott offloads the ball to Kieran Moss. Kieran Moss tries to get past George Milton and Elliot Minchella. They wrap him up 10 shy of the halfway line. They're looking for options out wide, York. Batchelor back on the inside to Robinson. York inching closer towards field goal range. Here goes Ellis out of dummy half. He's wrapped up on tackle number 4. There's one tackle remaining. And we're going to see York snatching at the death. Here goes Tim Spears. Tim Spears is wrapped up. 20 metres out. Last tackle. Back to Robinson. Charged down by Hallis. Hallis has saved the day for the Bulls. Ethan Ryan recovers. 20 points apiece. The scoreboard will remain. Keys in at dummy half. He gives it to Peltier. The strapping's covering one eye. He's only got one eye, he can't see. He's wrapped up now just outside his 20. Here goes McNally. McNally to Garside. We're into the second minute of time added on. The Bulls looking to get in drop goal range. 10 shy of the halfway. Here goes Lee Smith. The old stager wins a penalty. Bradford awarded a penalty at the death. Just inside the York half. Joe Keys is already looking towards the touchline, and John Keir has 2 fingers up in the air, and Joe Keys will have one last grass chance to win the game for the Bradford Bulls. Unbelievable game of rugby league football. This one has had everything.
47 metres out. This is going to be the toughest kick he's had all day. I know it's pretty much central, but you got to go for distance. You got the pressure of the deciding moment of this game. 20 points each. We were saying that this is fitting to both sides. They both deserved a draw, but Bulls, I don't know who it was that ran it in there to force the penalty, but well done, smart play. John Keir sticking his fingers up in the air, and they know they've been through a war. As the hooter goes, Mick.
The hooter has just sounded. Referee Matt Rossley raised his right arm. He acknowledged the hooter has gone. This will be the final act of a pulsating Betfred League One opener. Joe Keys presented with a chance for the Bulls to win it at the death from 45 metres out. It's looking good. It's there. It's there. The Bulls are going to win it. Look at the scenes at Bootham Crescent. Unbelievable.
Just look at these team celebrations. The lads coming off the bench as well for the Bradford Bulls. Look at the away end as the Bradford Bulls absolutely know they've been in a war. And what a well-worked point as a flare comes on the pitch. And York City Knights, the fans are booing in the main stand. But what a game of rugby league. Over 4,000 came to Bootham Crescent today. What a game. What a performance. And what a final kick. Look what it means to those fans, Mick.
The Bulls supporters, over half of that 4,000 crowd, you could say, have come from Odsal. But talk about calmness and keeping your composure. The hooter had sound. Somebody had to win the game. There were question marks over the penalty. It was awarded in the 83rd minute of time added on here at Bootham Crescent, and Joe Keys from 47 metres out, he struck the pause, and that one sailed between the posts, and the 2,000 Bulls fans inside Bootham Crescent will head back down the A1 and across the M62 to Bradford with 2 league points. Steve Crossley said prior to kick-off, it's everyone's grand final when Bradford come into town. They all want to be the first team to knock us off the perch. Oh boy, York City Knights were nearly there from taking a point off the Bulls, but in the end, it come down to the referee's decision on the final play, a penalty, and Joe Keys has struck gold for the Bradford Bulls.